A home run can win a season, it can win a game, and somehow it could lose a lifelong fan. So listen and find out how. This is a Broken Reel Media production, and you're listening to the Something's Wrong Here podcast.
Check 2. Check. Check 3. Yo, check 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Welcome back. Thank you for listening. I am Randy.
I'm Ken-Zee, and I'd like to share a story real quick.
A good story.
Yeah. We have a group chat, Randy and I do, with Brian. And the second that we both saw this on Monday morning, we jumped all over it, and then we backed away from it, not knowing if we wanted to touch it. And we are here to grope it now. So we've got Mike Liberty
Grope it,
here.
fondle it.
Yeah. Mike Liberty, you have a hell of a story recently, and I think we should just let you go.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
Well, it happened on Friday the 30th. Went to the game with one of my buddies, playing the Detroit Tigers.
Royals game. For
yes,
listeners.
for anybody who didn't catch on to that. Having a good time, and watched the celebrity home run or celebrity softball game before the game.
Had the big slick celebrity, all that good stuff going on that night too. Awesome.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, having a blast. My buddy's a Detroit Tigers fan, but you know,
We all have our problems.
right? Yeah, I'm not gonna hold that against him. Bottom of the first inning, Bobby Witt blast a home run. I'm sitting in the very back row. Fountains are behind me, the walkway, and I jump out of the seat. You can actually see me in the video. If you replay the game, you can see the ball heading out that way, and you can see me step over the back of my seat, and ball lands in the fountain. Everybody's
Ball's just floating there in the fountain right behind you.
yeah, typically, I've been to enough games. The ball typically just kind of floats, bobs around in the back. This one, we're celebrating. I turn around and the ball's rolling its way to the railing. And so I'm thinking, cool, I'm going to get a home run ball from Bobby Witt, for my kid, and just reach my arm over the railing, scoop it out. It's right there on the top. Took zero effort. I'm excited. People are celebrating. The first usher basically looks at me, and he's pretty much like, hey, good job getting the ball in the manner you did. Didn't cross the railing, didn't go into the fountain. Next guy comes over and, did you get that ball? Yeah. Showed him exactly how I did it. Same thing. He's like, I don't see the big issue, but, I got to check. I think they're going to have a problem with this. So I'm kind of flabbergasted a bit, because I'm like, I didn't go into the fountain. I know the rules. I'm over 40 years old. I know what you can and can't do out there. Thankfully I took a picture with the ball.
Yeah.
That was huge, and I didn't know how important that picture was going to be.
Well, you reached over the rail. You grabbed a ball. Okay, you got Bobby Witt's home run ball. I mean, he's hit quite a few already.
Yep.
Who cares?
Yep.
But it is the 3,000th home run in Kauffman.
Yeah.
So the 3,000th home run by the Royals, or the 3,000th home run total?
I guess I'm assuming
That is-
Royals.
Yeah, at Kauffman.
At Kauffman that the Royals have hit.
Yeah, that.
And so this ball isn't just a baseball that was hit, that was a home run. There's quite significance to it.
Correct, yeah. That was never made known at any point during that night. I actually didn't find out about it until the next day. That it was, somebody had sent me a link letting me know, hey, by the way.
And I saw the link.
That was a 3,000 home run ball. There's a reason probably why they did what they did in getting that ball from you, and how they, acted.
And not only that, their post, they took credit for getting it out of the fountain and said it was on the way to their Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and well, that occurred on Saturday.
Okay, so a few days later
was when I was notified about that comment they made to the
so the next day is when it, because you said it was Friday the 30th and Saturday is when it happened. They made that post.
No, Saturday was when they let it known that it was the 3,000th home run.
Gotcha.
And so I went to the game on Saturday. We had tickets. There were a group of us, still went out there. I filed a complaint with guest services on the spot. That was advised by the police who were working security, who escorted me out that Friday night.
So wait, can we back up actually?
Yeah, that's what.
We got to finish
That's kind of what
Friday.
I was. Yeah.
You say,
Yeah.
Friday first inning, you fished a ball out,
Yep.
and 2 ushers are cool with it, but the second one has to check.
Yep.
Fast forward, what's the third usher? I guess.
So, I mean, it was probably about maybe 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds later. They're like, yeah, you're going to be asked to leave. And I'm like, what? Guy comes down, immediately met with aggression. Like he was, I don't care. These are the rules. And I'm like, dude, like, this is how I did it. And he's like, I don't care. He's like, we're getting that ball and you're going to be removed. And he goes, if you don't give us the ball, you're going to be arrested. So that's when basically the ball was forcibly given to them under threat of arrest. I didn't fight security. I wasn't combative. I left without being in cuffs, arrested, prosecuted, anything.
Probably quite confused though.
And very confused. Just because, I'm like, this didn't need to escalate to where it was.
Well, let's be clear. Normal, customary at a MLB ballpark is if a home run or foul ball is hit into the stands, as long as it's not live, you get to keep it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the unwritten rule of the MLB. Doesn't matter if it's Aaron Judge's record-breaking home run, which somebody snagged and got to leave with, which is estimated, $4 million?
Yeah.
Or, whether it be a foul ball that means nothing from a player that's hit 1 million of them.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're on Saturday, filed a complaint. They give me an email. Have a good time at the game. Still cheering on the boys in blue, guys on the field.
Nobody asked you to leave that night.
no.
Everybody's cool with you being there. No rules broken. Like, he
Yeah.
can come back whenever he wants.
Yeah, everything's
Cool.
good. I sent an email that night to the email address that they advised me to, letting them know, that I had filed a complaint, what I was upset about, along with, at the time, like resolutions. Hey, let's try to make this right. Let's talk. Get a hold of me.
What were you asking for?
At that time, I didn't really ask for anything in the email. It was basically like, hey, talk to me.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get this figured out.
So you just wanted, you
amicably.
were saying like, let's resolve this,
Yes.
not okay.
Yeah. And it's I've never had any demands. That's a pretty strong word. Demand usually implies wrongdoing. And I know I didn't do anything wrong, but at the same time, I love the Royals. I don't want anybody bashing them through this whole process. I've never bashed them. I've remained pretty level-headed, and everything is cause and effect. So their lack of caring at this moment is kind of why I'm like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be wearing this Royals hat. To be a lifelong fan and be completely disrespected and disregarded in the way they've done it, it's
Well, it's definitely
It's a wild feeling.
It's an interesting flip from Friday,
Yeah.
kicked out, Saturday, perfectly fine.
Yep.
Everybody I've known that has been broke a rule and at the very minimum asked to leave, there's usually a suspension period or it's usually not, if you broke a rule to be thrown out of a stadium, it's usually not, hey, come back tomorrow like a bar where you've had too many to drink. It's, we're going to make you leave for a while, whether it be a year, for life.
Right.
Let's fast forward now back to Saturday where we were.
Yep.
All right, so you've gone Saturday to the game, you've made your complaint, you've sent off an email.
Yep.
What's next?
Sunday was kind of when everything hit the fan as far as social media goes, because that was when I saw the comment to the KC Star regarding how they had retrieved the ball from the fountain and it was going to be in their Hall of Fame. And that really lit a fire under me because that they had no regard for what happened to me. They were pretending like what happened to me that Friday night didn't happen. It didn't exist.
Yeah.
And I had a problem with that. I had already been disrespected once in the moment when it happened. Then to double down and go on record, essentially, and make a report to the KC Star that they retrieved it, that was very upsetting. And that was what started the social media thing with posting, getting it out there, because it was false.
Yeah.
And their statement was hurtful. And I didn't appreciate it. especially coming from the organization,
I don't think anyone would. I think that's a human reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like I said, the post, it said that they took full claim of getting it out of the fountains themselves. And then it was on the way to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
No mention of a fan getting it, nothing. It was they were the ones that did it, and they are transporting it to their Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Which, if they would have stopped for 2 seconds and said, hey, let's pull you aside, let's talk privately for a moment. This is more than just a Bobby Witt ball, which is all I thought it was. I was like, it's a Bobby Witt ball. I want to give it to my kid,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If they would have pulled me aside and kind of corrected that, we could have had that dialogue right there. And I would have said, okay, hey, you guys deserve this ball. I didn't do anything to get those 3,000 home runs. Like, this is historic. This is literally a fairy tale for a diehard sports fan, Royals fan, to end up in a position to have a ball like that and then be the one to give it back to the team selflessly.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys earned this. Let's, my son's on a little league baseball team. Let's hook him and his teammates up, give him the full quote unquote royal treatment, and give them something to remember forever and turn them into lifelong Royals fans.
I mean, that PR would have been incredible.
Huge.
Right? Yeah. Just I handed over the 3,000th home run ball, and the PR from it was, in exchange, the whole little league team got seats and free hot dogs.
And
would have cost them next to nothing.
Because we're talking 12 kids, 2 parents each kid, 36 tickets, put us in a group, throw us on the Jumbotron.
That's nothing.
Well, just that amount of people, they're going to be spending money in the concessions.
God, yeah.
That's nothing, man. That's nothing.
Buying swag from the gift shop.
They give that.
whole nine.
They give that number away every game anyway.
Yeah.
They probably triple that,
Oh, yeah.
if not way more than that.
It's a lot. And
know that
and
every
they have those
time-
special nights, too, where you can get in for like $5. So,
Well, not to mention when they're like, "Oh, the entire Blue Springs School District middle schools are singing the national anthem."
Oh, yeah, and they
There's
get free entry.
290 tickets away or whatever.
yeah. The PR, I think, would have been a lot better if it would have just been, hey, in exchange, we've got a bunch of kids that are going to have a lifetime experience, too.
Before we move on with your story, I want to ask you:
Yep.
do you think that the first 2 ushers, without obviously no regard for the 3,000th home run, it got radioed in?
Oh, absolutely.
That stat got counted, and somewhere a ticker went off, and that sparked.
Yes, absolutely. Well, there are people who that's their job.
Yeah,
is to track pretty much any given stat that may be memorable in any way. First player's hit, first strikeout, first home run. There are people who do that.
Well, I would argue probably 2 or 3 games going into that game, they were looking for it.
Well, not only that, but as soon as he hits the ball, it lands in the fountain. You hop over, you grab the ball, and then within 30 seconds, that's when the home run's verified and the stats been counted, and then the radios are going off. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Where's the ball?
Well, let me correct you for 1 second. I didn't hop over.
Sorry, not hop over the fence. You hopped your seat to the walkway.
Yes. Yep.
And then reached over the fence.
Reached
sorry.
over. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to indicate. All right. Let's are we on to Sunday?
We are.
Yeah, Sunday was when social media kind of that was when it was actually like late Saturday night. I had a buddy who sent me the comment and the star, and that night I literally started an X account. Never had X in my life, Twitter,
nice.
any of that stuff. So I started it just as another avenue of social media.
Yeah.
Then I went on Facebook and made the post I did, went to my Instagram, basically the exact same post, got copied over, and
Well, I saw it from other people sharing it,
Yeah.
calling out the Royals. So
yeah, I mean, it's we're a little over a week now. It's 230, 250 shares, which isn't huge,
yeah.
But at the same time, I'm a nobody.
I was going to say, for no social media presence, that's pretty huge, especially just starting the account for that reason.
Yeah. And so that was when, things kind of started taking off. I was getting messages from people leaving comments of encouragement, people calling the Royals, people emailing the Royals. It was kind of awesome to see, because I'm like, that's what Kansas City is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's disappointing that many strangers can show that amount of support, but a giant organization that you've followed since you were a kid just has no care in the world.
Well, you said that you broke no rules that you could find.
Yep.
Did they claim you broke any rules?
Yes.
What was the rule they claimed you broke?
They claimed I entered the fountains.
Why do you think you did not enter the fountain?
Well, logically, you enter before you walk into a room. You peek your head around the corner of the door before you enter the room. You don't enter a room and peek your head around the corner.
Fair.
So reaching my arm over, the only part of my body didn't put my leg over. If I would have straddled it with my leg, I know I can't do that. That's crossing.
Now, correct me. Did you use your hat to get it, or was your hat on? Okay, you used your hat.
Yeah. It was scooped it out, barely went underwater.
Yeah.
My hat,
The corner of it or whatever got wet.
Yeah. It was just the back of it that was a little wet. You can actually see in the picture, I only have just a little
some
bit.
drops. I saw
a couple
that.
drops on your shoulder.
But so you literally on the ground, reach over.
Yep.
You don't believe you entered it.
No.
Now, there's a sign on the fence here.
Yes. So
And that's what I wanted you to get to.
Yes. So the sign right behind us is completely illegible. You can't even read it. It's completely sun weathered. It's been there for God knows how long. Can't even read that one. And that's right behind us.
Okay.
We'll try to include that sign because you have it on your post, and
Yeah.
it is not legible.
Well,
No.
we can't be ignorant though.
Yep.
Obviously, there's another sign, right?
A little bit farther down, there's another sign.
And what does it say?
That sign says, persons entering the fountains will be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent.
So you went to jail on Friday night.
No.
Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
So you entered the fountain.
According to them,
You were not arrested nor prosecuted.
that is correct.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So are we following signs or are we not?
Yeah. It's,
Is that precedent, or is that
Well-
it almost seems like you could go after him for false advertising for fun now.
They're trying to ascertain a certain verbiage from their sign, yet, that sign in and of itself leaves a lot open to interpretation.
Well, I would go off of precedent too, because I know many of baseball games where people have leaned over and even taken foul balls off the field and have not been escorted out. Now, if it's fair and you touch it, usually a different story. But, I know for a fact, Batter's Eye out at St. Louis, there's a grass patch right below it, no seating. I've seen people reach over and grab it out of that area.
Yeah.
I've seen people enter and I've seen them thrown out, but I've also seen people lean over, feet straight up in the air, grab it, sit back down, not a thing happen.
Yeah. It's also very explicit on their MLB webpage too, that they address the fountains, and it's the exact same thing. The key word in all of this is will. Persons will be prosecuted and arrested and charged to the fullest extent of the law.
Not can be.
Not
will
can be, not might be, will be.
Again, that sounds like pretty legal language for you should on Friday have been arrested
And prosecuted, and
But here's what I want to actually go back to, and this is a little bit of a tangent, but I want all of your opinions on it because it's hitting my brain right now. That usher that came down aggressively and took that ball from you,
yes.
do you think the Royals PR team is shitting right now going, what the fuck did you do?
No, because so the Royals called me on Tuesday. And that was basically somebody had reached out to them and said, hey, I've got his list of resolutions here. You know, do you guys want to comment? Like, here they are. And I'd called them that morning, left a message, but within 5 minutes, they had called me. That gentleman, the third usher, he's like 70 years old. He's been there since the beginning with municipal, like all this stuff. He's been there for a really long time, which I personally feel is part of his power that he implemented. You know, he's been there for a long time, and he felt that since they've always done it this way, that makes it acceptable. And it's not. Just because you do something wrong 100 times doesn't make it right. And that's
Not even too wrong to make it right.
Yeah. It when they called me, they basically were, you were wrong, we're right in how we handled it, and we're not gonna discuss any resolutions.
But they're not going to prosecute you either.
No, yeah.
But you will be prosecuted.
Yeah.
In time, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, oh God, I'd love that. I'd love to see.
I mean,
them
at this point,
try
I feel
to
like
come after me later for it. That would be fantastic.
Man. So, that's Tuesday.
Yep.
Fast forward. Is there any development since?
No. I reached out to them again. Nobody answered. I had to leave a voicemail. Everything I've done has been on social media as far as updates go. So with the Royals, no, nothing. That is the only phone call I got. I've never gotten an email. I've never gotten a retort to my resolutions that I offered, which are absolutely more than fair, because it actually benefits them more than it does me personally.
Let's hit those. What do you have for your? What did you throw at them as the possible resolutions?
The very first thing was, first and foremost, I want the signs changed. That not only protects them, but it protects another person from possibly misinterpreting. The signs that are out there are horrible. It leaves a lot open to judgment, misinterpretation, and it needs to be changed to the effect of no retrieving balls from the fountain or personal belongings. I've had people message me and say that like their kid dropped a sippy cup over the railing or by the railing, and they like went to go get it, and an usher's like, if you reach in there and get that, you're going to be kicked out. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, that is insane. So that was the first thing I brought up. I'm like, you guys have to change those signs.
Yeah.
I wanted a apology. If they did it through social media,
Oh, they'll never admit wrongdoing, man.
No, I know. But if they, well, and here's the thing. I understood that, so I gave them options. You know, I'm not a cold, heartless person. So I told them, you know, if you give an apology on social media, I want to be mentioned by name. You are apologizing to me. You're not apologizing to the fan that retrieved the ball. You are apologizing to Michael Liberty. You can do it privately. If we reach resolution and we exchange, we can do it in person privately. Nobody's going to record it. There's not going to be any pictures. But I want that apology.
Yeah.
No email. Email was not an option. You're not going to email me an apology. You're going to treat me like a human being. I also said that I wanted them to give me the ball back, and I wanted to get the opportunity that they took from me that night in selflessly giving them the ball and telling them why they deserve to have this ball. What it means to me to give them that ball back. I wanted that opportunity because I wanted them to know how much I care about the team, the organization, the history, what it's meant to me over the years, how I get to share these experiences with my kids every time we come, and what that means. Then I wanted, you know, hook up my son's little league team, give them the greatest day of their lives out there at the K, throw them up on the Jumbotron, announce their team, like just make it an unforgettable day.
Do something cool
for them. That is the future of baseball. Because those kids out there playing baseball, and that's something that would stick with them forever. And they should reap the benefits of me being in the right place at the right time.
I mean, I think those are pretty fair. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
that whole resolution actually makes them money
Well,
in the end.
there's more.
Oh, there's more. Okay.
So, for me personally, given what happened and what I've been through with all of this, I wanted a signed bat from each of my past, present, and future favorite Royals.
Oh.
Alex Gordon, my favorite Royal. Bobby Witt, current favorite. Cags, probably going to be my future favorite. Watch the kid play in Omaha at the College World Series. He's amazing. I was stoked when we got him. And then for shits and giggles, I threw out. And I want to throw the first pitch out, and my son be the catcher. Hey, you never know.
All right. So how many of these, let's be real.
Yep.
This list is a bit absurd. No offense.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think anything's like excessive in itself. But obviously, the whole list you're never going to get, because the second thing you said was an apology, and they're never going to admit wrongdoing, which is the biggest thing here from a legal standpoint. They'll never, ever, ever admit wrongdoing.
Well, the thing is if you're resolving it, everything legal goes out the window. I'm going to sign something that says, hey, for everything you did to me, I'm not going to come after you for it. We're
Totally.
good. We can spin this into you guys looking like angels.
Totally get
And
it.
you will be back on everybody's good graces.
So what Ken-Zee's saying, though, out of that list,
What did you expect?
Well,
Or what were you hoping to accept?
So the non-negotiables were A, the signage, B, an apology. Again, that can be in person.
Yep.
No, that's for me to know. You know, it's off the record. I'm not going to talk
Would you
about
sign
it.
an NDA to get that? Because I think that would be their biggest thing from a legal perspective.
Well, no, I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's part of it. It's
Fair.
we reach resolution. Everything's done. It's squashed. They can spin it however they want to with the media. And the only thing I can say, hey, we resolved it. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's where it ends. But that's a non-negotiable because of what they did and how I was treated. Not only
Kicked out in the first inning for something as simple as that, especially if you do hand the ball over.
Yeah.
I think it's a little ludicrous, especially in the sense of like it is a somewhat victimless crime here. You got a little water on you, but
it's the first inning. It's not like it's the eighth inning and belligerently drunk and you've been there all day in the sun. It's bottom of the first inning. We've been there for a couple hours.
well, and not only that is that, like you pointed out, the signage. The signage is extremely important. You did not enter into that.
Correct.
By definition, you didn't. When you say enter, I picture jumping the fence in somebody's whole body. Leaning over and grabbing a ball out of a fountain doesn't really meet the criteria of what I think do not enter means.
how have we not made a just the tip joke?
That's a good question. How are we not?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Just the tip.
Just the tip. It was the tap.
little
It was just the tip.
Well, I can tell you right now,
That 70-year-old hasn't played that game in a long time.
I know how that tip feels right now.
I was going to say, the tip doesn't sound like it feels very well right now.
No.
So, I mean, moving forward, lifelong Royals fan, you said, I'll give it till next week and I may still be a fan.
Yeah. I mean, we're this Friday will be 2 weeks. And it's obviously not going to get any better by the Royal standards. If they haven't reached out to me by now, more than just the one time to say, we're right, you're wrong, and that's that. I don't see any of that changing. So I have to do, nobody's going to look out for you better than you.
No, of course not.
I have a lot of strangers on my side. There's a lot of people that have heard this. I mean, I've had literally maybe 5 people who were just like, you're an idiot. The signs say it explicitly. And I'm like, well, but they don't. And then they just want to stick to their guns on that, which is totally fine.
I would love to ask any of these people who have messaged you that question, if the ball went over their head in the fountain right behind their seat,
Would they
and
not?
it was right there.
Yeah.
Would they have idiotly?
I know I would have.
Yeah.
Idiotically.
Well, that's
Even
thing.
with the
I mean,
sign there, and if it was perfectly legible, I still would have, not thinking that I met that criteria that it was saying not to do.
Yep.
And I mean, I think that's great. One of your number one priorities is the resolution is just change the signage.
Yeah.
It'll solve all of this.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, it's not going to stop somebody from doing it because you have stupid people doing stuff all the time that they know they're
Absolutely.
supposed to. But
When you point to it and say this is why you're being thrown out,
there's no room for misinterpretation.
Especially if you aren't prosecuted and arrested
Or-
for what you were kicked out for.
Yep.
So what are you doing going forward?
That is up in the air. I don't want to disclose.
No,
potentially you may have something up your sleeve.
Definitely have something up my sleeve.
That's good. We can leave it at that.
It's you know, I don't want to show my hand too much.
Yeah.
I've already basically given them all of the retorts for everything that they're saying. So they're not dumb. They've got a legal team. I'm not sure why their legal team is advising them to go, let's just see how this plays out. Like it's if it goes to the next level, nobody wins. Yeah. Absolutely nobody wins. Even the victor doesn't win.
Yeah.
Because I will have lost many years of my life on a team that doesn't respect its longtime loyal fans, can't even attempt to right a wrong. That's just human nature, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody says you did them dirty, you try to fix it. You talk to them, you figure out how you can make it better. Apparently, according to the guest relations supervisor that I spoke with last Tuesday, this is how they've always handled it. This has happened many times. And I asked him, I'm like, why haven't you changed the signs yet?
Yeah.
Well, it's been in the talks. It's been brought up. And I'm like, you guys got to be kidding me.
They are literally,
It's,
what, 8 by 10 signs that would cost $30-$40 worth of stickers to fix.
yeah, I told him, I'm like, dude, like it's, $20 the sign, slap them up around the fountains, maybe a few hours labor, and it saves you guys a giant headache later.
Yeah.
You guys are saying this is how you've always handled it. I've seen videos. There's videos on YouTube of people retrieving the ball from a fountain. And in that video, he says, oh, well, the usher told me like this was okay. And he's full on hanging over the edge. He's got a contraption to lower down in there and get it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, the first guy told me, he's like, good job getting it the way you did. Like, he didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
And the other guy's like, well, I don't think he knows what he's talking about. So it's there. And again, I had somebody who told me it was okay. Why is that any different? So it's, there's a lot of stuff. I've gone down a lot of rabbit holes, in defense to basically refute some of the nonsense they're saying. And it just keeps adding up.
Well, I understand that the Royals are their own organization. They have their own separate rules and stuff. But I mean, you got to look at precedent too from the K,
Yeah.
and across the MLB as a whole. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. I've seen people with strings lowering down cups, putting them together to retrieve balls out of restricted areas.
Bullpens and stuff. You see it all the time. Mm-hmm.
People cheering when they finally got it into the cup and somehow retrieved it up. I mean, this isn't it's nothing new.
No.
And the problem is that if they've said this has been an issue and this is how they've handled it time and time again, who's at fault now?
Right.
I mean, it's pretty obvious that something needed to be done or changed, especially off those signs and the pictures you showed. You cannot read them.
No.
It sounds all around like it could have been handled in a much more symbiotic fashion for all parties included.
Yes. Yep.
I just want to ask, should fans be allowed to keep the balls?
Absolutely.
Seems to be, I mean,
that's part of why you go to the game.
It's
in
part of the
hopes of
experience.
getting a foul ball. Doesn't have to be a home run ball.
And
the only reason I ask is because you go to an NBA game, you're not allowed to keep that basketball that goes into the stands.
There's really only two sports. I guess soccer is getting to it now, but
Hockey and baseball are the only
Hockey
two
and
I know
baseball.
of.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, soccer, good luck getting it back if it goes up there. But
there's definitely some soccer balls that I know get away, and there's some that obviously are returned. But usually I know that I've seen it sporting before where you give the ball back, and usually someone's going to give you a beer coupon or something like that.
Yeah. Well, in those sports, it doesn't happen as often. Baseball, I mean, there's probably 150, 75.
Oh, they go
foul
through a
balls,
bunch.
home runs, yeah.
Well,
So-
I believe the average baseball game goes through about 110 baseballs.
Well,
So, I mean-
every time it touches the dirt, new ball, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
And then every time a ball's hit, new ball, right?
correct.
Yep.
And wait, is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Is it
pretty
a new
much.
ball for an infield hit?
Yeah, when anytime it
Sometimes.
touches anything, it's
It is a new ball.
dirt.
Some pitchers like to hang on to those balls.
Well, no, I'm serious. I thought
Softens them up.
all right, hang on. I'm trying to be for real here. If someone cracks one out to the outfield and the outfield catches it, outfield throws it to the pitcher, does he does pitch that ball?
No.
He doesn't pitch that ball?
No, usually throws it back to the ump or throws it to the dugout. The umpire will throw out a new one. Usually, I think the average baseball sees about 2 pitches.
Wow.
If it touches the dirt, new ball. It's hit, new ball. Stays in the infield. Doesn't matter if it's caught, whatever. Like you said, I don't even know if they're allowed to hold on to it after it's been hit anymore.
I'd
I'd have to look into that.
because it's basically the ball's getting scuffed, it's getting marred. Pitchers can
use
manipulate
that
if they
for
want
grit.
Yeah, I guess I had the naive thought process that if the infield got the ball, it goes into the pitcher and he throws the ball. All right.
Nope. The only time they really keep it is strikeout doesn't hit the bat. They go around the horn. It goes back to the pitcher, and they can
going.
pitch it again after that. But if it touches the ground or any object, nope.
Okay.
So, should fans be able to keep milestone balls?
That's completely up to the fan. Honestly, in my situation, I think baseball's a romantic sport. That in that moment, that is every true baseball fan's dream.
Oh, yeah.
Is to have a ball of that milestone in your hands, and you get to give it back to your team and be a part of their history.
Yeah.
Just from being in the right place, right time. It was like I would have been able to go back to future games, and I promise you, I would have stopped into that Hall of Fame every time and gone, I caught that ball.
Well, I
and
mean,
here it sits.
night of.
Yep.
Night of. Let's play a hypothetical out.
Okay.
If the ball goes in the fountain, rolls up, you fish it out with your hat, 3,000th ball, you look to an usher, he says, hey man, that's cool. You're cool. You go back to your seat, take a picture of the ball, all's well, you're starting to watch baseball. Someone walks down and goes, excuse me, sir. Can we talk to you for a minute? We'd like you to know that that's actually the 3,000th home run hit in Kauffman Stadium by a Royal. We absolutely need that ball. How can we make this right? And in that moment, you're probably thinking, holy shit. But at the same time, the list of demands would have been less.
Well,
And I'm guessing it would have just been something along the line of hook my kid up and caption my name somewhere.
no, actually, it would have been the baseball team thing
Yep.
for my son's baseball team. Let my son meet Bobby Witt, get some autograph stuff, give them the full-on experience, and that's it. The only reason the other stuff came in is because of what happened to me, how it wasn't resolved that way. That's how that other stuff came in.
Okay. So night of,
Yep.
had they approached you and said, excuse me, sir, you have our 3,000th home run. You're not leaving with it.
Yeah.
How do we get it right?
Yeah.
It would have been hook my kid's team up.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. And I just said,
And the PR for that.
guys. Oh.
The PR for that alone. God damn it.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Pretty simple marketing, actually.
I mean, God damn it,
Royals,
boys.
if you ever hear this, it still is.
I just,
And you know what? To play devil's advocate here, I've heard of, stories similar to yours. I know of a female who brought her son, didn't really know much about baseball, ended up in possession of a rookie, first time at bat, hit a home run. She has his ball. They come up, hey, we need that. That was his first home run. Okay, what we'll do is we'll give you this ball in exchange, which was a backup catcher autograph ball, not realizing how it works, how the system works, what that ball was actually worth and what they could have got. And I'm not trying to say rip off players. They deserve that ball back.
Yep.
That was their first home run as a major leaguer. I totally agree. But as a player, I will sign a jersey for you to get my first home run ball back. That means that jersey
In a heartbeat.
out of I'll go buy it myself out of the shop, and I'll sign it for you. I'll buy 3 of them and sign them for you. It means nothing.
Right. You think Bobby Witt wouldn't also love to bring a team out and be like, by the way, his dad caught the ball, boys. Check this out. Let's play catch. Like,
Yeah.
that alone, I mean, like, if I'm Bobby Witt, which I'm not, I want to clarify that for everyone listening at home. I'm not.
Are you sure?
Fuck off.
You
And
look nothing like him.
I look closer than him to you.
Probably.
So if I'm Bobby Witt, I want to meet the guy who got that ball.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like, I want to meet that fan. I want that to, like, to
It's all
me,
a big
that's thing
circle
right there.
of history right there. He hit it. The fan caught it. The fan gave it back. It's going to the Hall of Fame. We're all happy people in this big circle now.
Is that subjective? I mean, like, I feel like, to me, that's obvious for any pro athlete to want to, like, meet the fan
As
who
a
caught that. And, like,
true
be like,
baseball
"This is
fan,
awesome."
I think that would be pretty normal reaction.
Any sport. Any
Yeah,
sport where you
any
got a
sport.
memento from something like that where they said, hey, we need it back. But, like, dude, if I'm the guy who hit it, I want to meet the guy who got it.
Well, and especially since it doesn't sound like there's going to be a 4,000th home run out of Kauffman.
Yeah, takes a long time.
I mean, that's a different story and everything, but I'm just saying, the way things are going, it doesn't look like Kauffman's going to be there to get a 4,000th home run.
No, and I mean, you would think that in this time, they would want positive press,
Right.
Like they would want an awesome story. Because I mean, right now, who knows where they're going to end up? Are they going to end up in Kansas? Are they even still going to be in the state of Missouri?
I see a lot of people saying, let him
Or
go.
Kansas, and it's you need all of the positive press that you can get to get more supporters behind you. And I know I'm small potatoes and everything. They feel I'm zero threat and they don't want to do this, but it's only going to be worse before it gets better. And that is a fact. That is 100% a fact.
Well, I mean, I do think it's great that your number one request, change the signage.
Yeah.
That's simple. Just please change it.
Yeah.
That is should have been done a long time ago. It seems like a rather simple request.
Yeah.
For everybody's safety, for everybody's well-being, for the headaches. Like you said, if nothing else, it's going to save a lot of headaches.
Yep.
Because everywhere you go in that stadium, there is a fountain.
Yep.
If you've never been to the K, I don't know how many fountains are there, like
I don't
20
know
or something like that?
But we
There's
are
a
the
lot.
city
I
of
think there's-
fountains.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And I mean, I was joking around with Mike earlier. I'm pretty sure that sign went up that he's talking about, the weathered one.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the weekend after the Iowa strippers got into the fountain.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard that story, Randy.
I did not hear that story.
Yeah, so
I guess it was before I got out here, probably.
2017, I believe. Is it either 2017 or 2013?
I think it had to have been 13, man.
Yeah.
That it feels a lot longer than 17 ago,
Yeah.
but yeah. So some strippers from Iowa came down and I guess caught a ball game and also caught a swim. No one really understands how
Were they
those two-
prosecuted to the full extent?
Yes, they were.
I believe they were, but
They were.
They by definition entered the fountains.
Yes.
They were swimming in them.
I mean, at least the people there got their money's worth.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been throwing ones as they were being escorted out the door.
I don't know if everyone knew they were strippers at the time. It came out definitely.
Later.
Yeah, I think it came out later, but it was quite humorous that it turned out to be such. All right, so Mike, moving forward, right now we're still a Royals fan.
Yep. Got the hat on right now still.
Yeah. How many games have you been to, you think? Just a shot from the hip here.
Well over 200. Well over, easy. From going to them as kids. I remember we had to sit in the higher seats because that's, my dad would work his ass off and that's what we could afford. And I was always happy to go to games. And then after that, I was like, I'm never sitting up here again. Like it's, so like after that, it's always been lower level, but it's, a lot. I mean, between growing up and then having kids and taking them to ball games, and it's it has been a lot. And
Let's be realistic too. Nowadays, going to a game, even on an off night, is not cheap.
yeah, no, I mean, you're still hell, that day, that Friday, I think I spent about $160, and that's not even including the cost of tickets or.
And you were still in the first
food.
inning.
Yeah, first inning.
So, talking about cheap Royals in history, you guys want to hear a funny one?
I do.
All right. So in high school, I dated the daughter of a former Royals player, and we went to Royals games, quite a few of them. At that time, don't get me wrong, we didn't pay shit. Her dad played for the Royals, but at that time, it was cheaper to get into the Royals game than it was to park at the Royals game.
I believe it.
And that's how bad we were. So, laughingly, yes, the history of cheap, I can remember when it was $9 to park, $7.50 to get in.
I would go, when I first got out here, I would go on Sundays usually, and I would pay I think $15 to park, and I would get on StubHub and hit refresh. I would always miss first pitch, but didn't matter. Right before first pitch is when they cut them off, but usually about that 5-minute window, you can get them for about $10, $15, and I'd sit right behind home plate or right on the third base line for less than $15. I never paid more than $15. So yeah, the parking definitely cost more than the tickets, and this was in 2018, 2019.
Yeah. I feel that. Again, it's been a very interesting timeline as a Royals fan in my lifetime. And I bet Mike can agree here. He's got a few years on me, but that's definitely an interesting timeline over our own history.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So with that being said, we normally do like a final thought, but if somebody from the Royals were to see this, what do you want to say to them? This is your chance just to get it out there.
Just what I've been saying the whole time. Talk to me. Like open that dialogue instead of coming at me with we're right, you're wrong. Like let's have an actual discussion. Let's talk it through. It's very simple to do. My resolutions, again, they're not demands. It's I have things that should be done. With the signage, an apology. I deserve an apology. I deserve to give you that ball just as I would have that night. I should still be afforded that opportunity and that experience. So kind of, the big thing is I'm going against a juggernaut.
Yeah.
It is literally David versus Goliath right now because they're standing firm. I'm a nobody. It's nobody's ever probably stood up to them in this way or done anything like this as far as just doing what they can to get their attention, let other people know. It's part of why I'm appreciative that you guys had me on. Same thing with Pete Mundo having me on that morning. That was huge. Thank you for letting me tell my story. But another problem we have is media right now. I've had a lot of news stations contact me. Hey, story's very interesting. It's got grit. It's got, pretty much got everything you want in a story. Would you be open for an interview? I wanted to ask you before I pitch it to my higher ups. And I'm always like, yeah, absolutely. Well, it gets squashed. There are a lot of politics.
Not a lot of shock.
At Bayer.
Not shocked at all.
Which I get. It would be very naive of me to think that there weren't politics at play.
Which is great because we do all this stuff in-house and we can do or say whatever we want, have whoever we want on, and it does afford us that small opportunity to have people like you and not really care what people think about it.
I mean,
that you get your story out so you can tell the truth.
It's it in a way it's kind of disgusting. Local news is there to do what? Promote local stories. No matter, I mean,
take ad money.
Like I mean, they.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, they have no problem voicing their opinion or going at printing a story about a senator, a legislator, whatever. But oh God, heaven forbid somebody stand up to the Royals and you got people who want to get the story out. But I guarantee you the Royals are like, you air this story, we're gonna cut off some access. You're not gonna. And I'm like,
yep. They've got the media access. They've got the advertising. They've got everything all in their back pocket to hang over these people's heads.
And it's, again, I get it, but it just goes to show how tough it is to go against somebody like that who has all of this leverage, all of this advantage that a regular everyday person doesn't. No matter how impactful this story could be, not only to the team, but just the city of Kansas City. You know, I can't even get, and I'm going to drop a few names right here, but Farzan, I don't know if you guys follow him on social media.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff with the Chiefs, and he even does Royal stuff. Can't even get a response from him. Like, how many times do I have to tag you? How many emails do I have to send? Like, this is exactly how you make your living on social media reporting stories. 96.5, The Fan. Can't even get them to give me a phone call to go, hey, what's going on with this? We saw this, and nope, tag them 100 times, nothing, crickets. And
let me ask you a question as my final on this one here.
Yep.
Today, everything that's happened, understanding, not being naive, they're never going to admit wrongdoing. So, moving past what I think would be, in all honesty, any apology, if they said, hey, we're going to get you a bat, we're going to take care of your son's team today, you know what, we're sorry about that, we'll give you a little caption for the photo. That's the best you're ever going to get. In my opinion, if they offered it up today, would you go, fuck yeah, dude, let's do this thing?
They'd have to call me.
Fair.
I'd have to hear it in their voice. I'd have to hear it in their...
It's a good answer.
Where I'm at with it is my personal opinion. The Royals could do right by this. They could get the right PR, and they could do it by saying, you know what, let's hook up that team. Let's get this taken care of. Let's throw a caption to the guy who got the ball. But, obviously they're not going to give you enough credit in the sense of this is how we want people to get the ball out, because obviously that's not how they want it.
Yep.
And then let's change some signs.
Yeah.
And I think that part is blatantly obvious. Let's change some signs. But let's stick to real. You've been shit on before.
Yeah.
You know how to swallow the pride and humble. Let's just be real. This was, as soon as it was a ball for the kid and then they took the ball, it was let's hook up the kid. Let's keep it with that, man. You know what I mean? Like, I wholeheartedly think that we make it symbiotic, we make it right, but let's figure out how to do that, because that's the real story here, is hook up the kid's team and make it right that way.
Well, and it's right now it's all on them. I mean,
I know,
the ball is in their court. It's been put out there, and again, it's just open the dialogue. Give me a call.
Yeah.
Sit down and do one of this without a microphone.
Let's just sit and talk. It's very simple. This is still at the point of being fixable, but I think part of the problem is that the story's out there. It's well known, and if they work out a negotiation, they're afraid they'll look weak. And
You're a terrorist.
It's absolutely a skewed way for them to look at this, because all they're looking at is the negative.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't understand. If we find resolution in this, you're gonna have a bunch of people who are back to being fully supportive on your side. Like,
Yeah.
everybody gets a happy ending, but you guys are worried about something in the future. Well, don't do anything stupid. Don't accuse somebody of a crime, threaten to arrest them. And, honestly, if they would have done that, it probably would have saved their ass.
Can we go back to that for a second? Let's go back to that. I actually want to ask this one. Did they escort you out to the parking lot?
I was escorted out by 3 police officers.
3 police officers.
3 police officers.
To the gate
parking
and
lot.
said, go on your way.
Now, they escorted me all the way to the gate. So we were in the basically like right or left field fountains. Like we were in the farthest one down below. So I had to walk up, around, over, and all the way out the stadium.
With police officers.
I cannot tell you how degrading it is.
Oh, I bet it's not fucking fun.
To know in your heart of hearts that you did nothing wrong. B, to be in front of all those people and you have somebody telling you that you committed a crime, you can be arrested, you can be prosecuted, and then lead you with 3 officers all the way up and out. Now, what if my son's teacher were there?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, that's, his dad. What did he do that was so wrong? There are 3 police officers. What if it was a potential customer of mine who I had been talking to, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, this guy's being let out by 3 police officers. Like,
and the victim being a wet hat.
And it's a very, very disgusting feeling. And that's what I don't think they understand is, if we found this resolution, sorry you have to make an apology, but guess what? Everything that happened to me and how I felt that night, I am willing to let that go by you making it right in this other way. That literally involves 0 money. I benefit none from this other than getting the personal respect.
An apology that you deserve.
An apology that I deserve, and being afforded the opportunity to give them that ball. That's the only thing I gain. They gain everything.
Well, Mike, I want to thank you for coming in here. I'm glad you could tell your story. Hopefully this gets out to somebody that can do some good with it. Share it away. Do whatever you need to do with it. But use it to get your story out there, and we'll do what we can to get it out there. And hopefully within this next week, there's some sort of resolution, and you can put it all behind you and move on and continue being a Royals fan.
Yeah, I mean, I would love nothing more than to keep cheering on this organization. And
I mean, it's bad enough that you have to be a Royals fan.
But easy now.
Thanks for coming in, dude.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.